So we've all seen the new Starfield announcement by now, confirming that the game will release on September 6th, 2023, and we will be getting a showcase in June. I've done tons of breakdowns of this footage and announcement, we've discussed the delay, and today I thought that we would take a closer look at the things that some people may have probably missed in the background footage here. So without any further hesitation, drop the video a like for me, consider subscribing if you're new around here, and let's just dive straight into it. So the first thing that I really want to talk about is the HUD here. We can see that it's changed ever so slightly from the original footage we saw in Starfield's last showcase. However, look at the colour. This looks pink. This could be an indication that we can actually change the colour of our HUDs, since we know that this HUD is usually white. It's been white in every other piece of gameplay footage that we've seen in Starfield. It's even white later on in this video, as you can see here. We know that Bethesda let us change the colour of our HUDs in Fallout 4, and a lot of people really used and loved this tiny feature, so I wouldn't be surprised if they let us change the colour of our HUD again for Starfield. This also makes me wonder if we'll have some kind of torch in Starfield. I mean, we can assume that we will because Skyrim has torches and the candlelight spell, and Fallout 4 has the Pip-Boy flashlight. So Starfield is most likely going to have some kind of light source that we can carry around with us too. Now there is a good chance that this HUD isn't actually pink and it just looks pink because of the lighting in the room or something like that. I mean, we are looking at footage through a camera on a screen from far away, so maybe that's why. Maybe it's not pink and it just looks pink. Unfortunately, we have no way to confirm this, so let's just move on. Now, one sort of big thing from the last showcase, which I haven't seen a whole lot of people mention, is that we can actually remove our jetpacks as seen in this shot of the last showcase here. But with the new gameplay, we can actually see that we can mix and match, so our jetpacks will be separate from our spacesuits. We can use, for example, a Constellation jetpack with a non-Constellation piece of armor or spacesuit as seen here. I personally think that this is a really cool small feature, and I'm glad that they've added it because for a long time I assumed that the jetpack would just be a part of the spacesuit. But now we should be able to make some pretty cool spacesuit designs just from doing this, kind of like in Skyrim. When you mix some armors together, they can look pretty cool. Now there is a theory that does make sense, so I do believe it, that your jetpack will also work as an oxygen tank, allowing you to breathe in planets that don't have oxygen or a lack of oxygen. So maybe when we take our jetpacks off, it's because we're on a planet that has breathable air. We know that there is a hide helmet in breathable atmosphere button down here, which I absolutely love, so maybe there is something else like this for our jetpacks, who knows. Now in this combat footage here, we can very clearly see enemy bullets and lasers flying towards us. Yeah, duh, that was obviously going to be in the game, but look at how in depth it is. It's really well outlined. We can really see the outline of enemy fire coming towards us. This is something that we didn't really get much of in Skyrim or Fallout 4. It was basically impossible to see where a bullet or arrow was coming from, but with Starfield it seems very obvious, at least from the guns that the enemies are using in this shot. This will help combat in so many ways, giving us a chance to actually dodge and things like that. But speaking of dodging, a very small one for you here, in this shot our character is clearly dodging. He isn't just flying to the side, this looks like he is actually dodging. So Bethesda have finally included a dodge button or some kind of mechanic in their game with Starfield. I am extremely happy about this. I've always felt like Elder Scrolls should have a dodge mechanic. Now maybe this isn't actually a dodge button and we're just sort of tapping to the side rapidly, which makes our character dodge. Again, this is something I imagine we'll have to wait and see for ourselves. Now another fairly small one here, but we can actually see in this shot that our spaceship door is staying open. Like it isn't closing even though we're quite far away from our ship. This could confirm that our spaceship doors only shut if we make them, or maybe they just stay open until we return. That does seem pretty weird to me. Why would you want our doors to stay open? Maybe we can bring up the Constellation Watch and use it to open and close our ship's doors from afar. It would be really cool to run away from a massive gunfight and quickly just slam shut the spaceship doors as enemies are firing at you. A little off topic, but this also makes me wonder if enemies will get in their ships and follow you into outer space if we jump in our ships mid-fight and fly away. Either way, that's another small detail that I noticed. Then in this shot here, if we look down at the little compass, we can actually see that a few of our map markers are coloured, meaning Starfield will have coloured map markers. This is a pretty cool small detail for me because I always use coloured map marker mods for Bethesda games, so I'm very happy that they're finally adding it in themselves this time around. Now I do have to wonder if in this shot orange is the colour of one of your outposts, because we clearly see an outpost here. Unfortunately we just don't know if this is a friendly outpost, one we've built ourselves, or an enemy one. But also speaking of this exact same shot, we can see that these windmills are a different colour than the ones that we saw in the last showcase. Now these could just be better ones that produce more resources and things like that, but I think that we'll actually have different colour schemes that we can unlock for our outpost objects. Maybe it will work like Fallout 4 when we could find power armor paint jobs out in the wasteland to then make our power armor different colours. We may be able to buy or find paint designs for some structures and objects for our outpost, just a little speculation on my part, but I thought that I would point it out nonetheless. Or just another very small one for you, we can actually see in this shot that yes, the planet we're fighting on is actually Mars. This is actually a Mars mech factory, possibly where we can see and meet enemy versions of Vasco, which some have speculated. However, Vasco isn't a mech, he's just a robot, so again, who knows? Just a very small one that I wanted to point out. Now going all the way back to the start of this cinematic shot, we can clearly see this massive ship, and it's definitely the biggest ship that we've ever seen in Starfield. But to me anyway, this really looks like a reference to Amora Amora. For those of you who don't know, the University of Hawaii discovered Amora Amora, which NASA later confirmed was the first object from another star to visit our solar system. There was a lot of speculation when Amora Amora first appeared that it was a spaceship, and if we put together these two shots, you can clearly see just how similar they look. So I definitely believe that the opening cinematic shot here of this new teaser or trailer or announcement, whatever you want to call it, is definitely a reference to Amora Amora. Now just going back to the Mars footage, we can actually see a little progress bar pop up here. Of course it's very difficult to make out, but this looks like a social skill level going up after we loot, possibly indicating that the companion that's with us in this shot likes it when we loot. So maybe this is a visible like/dislike meter. We did actually have one of these in Fallout 4, but the meter was just invisible. Many mods have added it in, but if I'm correct here, it's nice to see that we finally are going to be able to actually see the progress of our relationship with our companions. Now at the end of all of this footage, we can see the player fighting this giant beast, and while this fight looks great, what I really want to point out is laser sights. We will have laser sights in Starfield, and also we can see how our reticle changes when holding this awesome looking gun. This is pretty great, and I'm very excited to get my hands on this weapon because it looks fun as hell to use. Anyway guys, that is pretty much all I can find in the newest gameplay of Starfield. We're going to have a lot more to break down very soon, and I'm very excited about the future of Starfield content. If you enjoyed the video, please do drop it a like if you haven't already. It really does help me out more than you can imagine. And of course, if you are new around here and you want to stay up to date on Starfield news, leaks, discussions, speculation, information, and plenty of other Bethesda focused content, please do consider subscribing because I cover absolutely all of it over here. We're also really hoping to hit 5,000 subscribers sometime soon, so if you do subscribe, I thank you so much for helping us reach that goal. But with all of that said and done, thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in the next one.